Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome back for the second time today. Our second best of three on the way, and it's going to be an interesting one. Team Liquid matching wits with Virtus Pro. Now, Liquid is a team who snuck a win in on Na'Vi. Really can't... hey, flipping out. Yeah, that's the wrong button, Connie. Team Liquid, a team that snuck a win on Virtus Pro. And... a win in on Na'Vi, and Virtus Pro, of course, their test here today. The fact that Liquid did manage to take that upset win, though, puts them in a fantastic position to secure their playoff berth with a win here today. Virtus Pro, though, they're sitting right on that fine line. They're at 2-2 with Dignitas withdrawing. That improves them to 3-2. A win for them would likewise punch their ticket into the bubble race playoffs. No one's catching Alliance from this point out, as they did finish perfect, but after that, it's all about seeding coming into the bubble race. So, moving ahead, before we get into the game, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule coming up next. The schedule, as you can see, is going to be a little riddled with problems. Tomorrow, basically every match you see for Dignitas is just not going to be happening. So Dignitas withdrawing from the league, that means we're not going to have a match on Thursday with them versus Mousesports. Friday, likewise, we'll have our afternoon session, which will be Fnatic versus Team Liquid. Thursday, of course, we'll still have Na'Vi and Virtus Pro on as scheduled. But Wednesday, we will have a match coming up, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to double check on that. As you can imagine, we're still moving things around. But yeah, just wanted to go ahead and give you guys an idea of where we're going to have gaps in our play days. The last day of D2L play will likewise be a one-match day. So it looks like pretty much from this point on, it's only going to be one match a day. So I feel bad. I fibbed to you on accident. I said a while ago that we would have two best of threes a day, every day. Obviously, Dignitas evaporating into the ether. Sort of a problem for that. Nonetheless, the draft is underway for Team Liquid versus Virtus Pro. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. I'll be joined by Ben Merlini Wu, as always. We're going to be jumping right into the game next. Stick with us. We'll be right back here on the HyperX D2L. And we're underway for the second best of three of the day. Team Liquid and Virtus Pro in a transatlantic matchup that, once again, is going to have some major bearing on the outcome of these two teams. Basically, the winner secures themselves a spot in the playoffs. Team Liquid is still early on in their schedule, and with the win here will pretty much guarantee their own berth. But I mean, let's talk practical terms right now. Mousesports is sitting in 0-5. They're completely out of playoff contention at this point. 0-2. Dignitas, I shouldn't even say, is 0-2. They're 0-0 as they did have to withdraw from the tournament. EG having their third game against Na'Vi in a must-win situation for them. That game has been postponed. That's a must-win for them if they want to have a hope at playoff contention following the withdrawal of Dignitas. And Na'Vi certainly wants that as well. They have fallen on the wrong side of 500, but with a win there, they could secure themselves another spot as well. So everything kind of up for grabs here in the West. All you need to know is we got two very talented teams. Team Liquid again with that big upset, and Virtus Pro rolls into play here with a little bit of momentum. They just finished up a win against Fnatic in DreamHack's Dream League. So they're certainly going to be firing on all cylinders. To help break down the draft as well as lend the insight and analysis, as he always does, welcome in once again, Ben Merlini Wu. And Liquid going to lead off with Visage and Clockwork. Looks like we get to see another Way 2 Visage, my friend. And Way 2 Visage is good Visage.
Liquid's also rolling in with some momentum too. They beat Fnatic pretty handily also in the Asus Dream League. And one thing about VP is I think that Light of Heaven is actually probably the most limited hero in terms of hero pool for VP. And I'm actually surprised that no one has really figured out to just ban Darkseer versus VP, just because Light of Heaven plays that hero extremely well. And we've seen him struggle on the carry a lot. But as the offlaner, I must say his Darkseer is far better than most of his other heroes.
Yeah, I very much agree. And, Light of Heaven, He's kind of a tweener right now. He's been having to wear a lot of hats for Virtus Pro. It looks like those days are coming to an end for him, though, as Blow Your Brain is once again back in action with Virtus Pro, and I anticipate that stand-in in front of his name is going to be changing to just a flat-out Virtus Pro tag, and certainly he has a history with VP, and they have enjoyed so much success since his return. Like you've said, I mean, they have just looked so good, beating Fnatic earlier, Liquid, of course, and that's another storyline that we can touch on, but doesn't really deserve to be talked about today. Fnatic, they were looking really good a couple of weeks ago whenever we just got underway with the Western Division, but now they're beginning to struggle here and there. So a bit of an up and down for them, which is surprising given they are a full five-man that retained its structure following the shuffles of TI post-TI 2013. But Liquid going to go ahead and snag up the Crystal Maiden to go with the Visage and Clock. So a lot of early roaming potential out of the Visage Crystal Maiden combination. It's really hard to pin them down just because of how effective they are moving about the map in a variety of situations. Obviously, they're going to want to get Bulba off to a good start on Clockwork, and I would honestly argue that Clock is Bulba's best hero. He is phenomenal on the Clock.
Yeah, he played a fantastic bat in the most recent game that I watched him. And Boba, very flexible player. Some heroes he does seem to struggle on, but certainly not on Clockwork. He was pretty much one of the first pioneers of Clockwork in 6.78 and really brought the hero out of obscurity. And VP going with, there's going to be a lot of early aggression this game. Like, pretty much all these heroes can fight pre-6. And with the Vengeful Spirit on VP, I think they just want to take the fight very early. Liquid also dissuades a bat pick, but they already banned out bat, so they won't be scared of that. I think it is very smart banning out the Nature's Prophet because Koikva is an absolute monster on that hero, and he just manages to find farm up anywhere, and it plays very well into Team Liquid style, where they do like to put a lot of pressure on with Boba, but they also want to protect TC.
TC will be farming the Luna, and Koikva can play Clock as well, so we'll see if they want to grab his hero last or if that's going to be Koikva's hero with Bulba still needing a hero himself. But as you mentioned, Koikva is, if you had to make a list of some of the best and brightest upcoming talent from the youngsters, we're talking even younger than like 18, 19, 20 years old. If I'm not mistaken, Koikva's 17. Koikva's name would be way near the top. The guy is so young and getting so good so quick. And as you mentioned, his Nature's Prophet really is one of the best in the West. It's one of the best you're going to see. He can play a Lone Druid fairly well as well. We haven't seen that banned out yet. Could be a pick for him if they want to get a little bit of a two core action going with Luna and LD. We'll just have to wait and see. Arzard will probably be on the Venge, though. We've seen him succeed on that hero multiple times.
Yeah, and Koikva has just been a standout player. We've seen him dominate on the Storm Spirit a couple of times, and it's just very, very difficult to play against him. He also adapts fairly quickly. He was on Mouse, and he has just gotten a lot of experience under his belt playing against the top-tier teams constantly. And we see VP actually go with an early Shadow Shaman. They really do like this pickup, though, and we're seeing a somewhat similar draft to last game where they use Shadow Shaman to great effect. I didn't actually watch all the game, but I do know that VP picked SS.
Yep, and right now, when you look at the way Virtus Pro's lineup is panning out, we can feel pretty damn assured that it's going to be Light of Heaven on the Darkseer, as we said. Nagasaki, right now, they've got three heroes in the middle there. Hell, all four can viably go mid. Shadow Shaman has made an appearance in mid a few places, including here in the D2L. If they wanted to stick God on one of those heroes, but by all accounts, they don't have a carry for
where's the Lifestealer ban? Blow Your Brain. I'm pretty sure he's played that hero like over 50% of the time in the matches that we've seen, and it's not like they have that good anti Lifestealer too. Like Clockwork is like okay at best because of cogs and hookshot, but other than that, like these other heroes just get mowed down by Lifestealer. So I'm very surprised that that hasn't been banned out by Liquid. And one benefit about Lifestealer is that it plays very well into their aggressive playstyle. And you don't need a BKB before you fight, and that is something that Liquid is going to have to worry about because Luna without BKB is just going to get destroyed if they initiate with a Naga Song Siren. And Shadow Shaman is good versus Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit is also good versus Shadow Shaman because if you get, it just depends on who gets to jump on who. And one concern when you pick a Storm Spirit or when playing against a Storm Spirit rather is that you don't have enough disable, but with Vengeful Spirit and Shadow Shaman, they should be perfectly okay.
I would really like the Lifestealer pickup here if that's the direction they want to go for one big reason. As you said, they've got Song of the Siren to initiate into Team Liquid, but they also have a very dedicated disable that'll go through Luna's BKB to allow Blow Your Brain to close distance if he does end up being on the lifestealer. Being able to ensnare through Magic Immunity is set. Well, nope, we're going to have a mid OD. So that's going to be a farming Naga with AA on the Venge and Light of Heaven on the Darkseer. So, yeah, this should be a fun game. Second time here in the D2L we've seen an old school farming Naga.
It was not used to great effect last time. I believe it was Mouse that used it, but it does still have some potential. And oh no, it's going to be a support Naga. So wait, who's
farming
Brain
the Venge?
Playing Venge? Whoa.
Just whoa, bro. Just whoa. Having the swap Luna in, of course, is a nice way to close distance as well. So they've got some answers for her Magic Immunity, but would you say the early and mid game is going to be pretty important for Virtus Pro? Don't know that you want a hard farming Venge to go against a hard farming Luna in the late game.
It's going to be very important for both teams. And if Luna doesn't get a BKB, she's just going to get wrecked by Vacuum Wall, by just all these like Ether Shock and all these disables coming out, and especially OD. So that should be Liquid's probably #1 priority is securing farm for TC. Priority #2, securing farm for Quakeva. But if VP just lets Liquid have their way in the early mid game, I must favor Liquid's lineup a little bit more. But VP does have the way better team fight, though. Just the amount of burst potential coming out from their team, and just being able to Song of Siren, drop your wards, drop a Vacuum Wall into a Sandy's Eclipse, that can just wipe 2 or 3 heroes. And Beaker or not, their team might just fall to that 5-on-5.
And we could see it's actually going to be Quakeva on our Storm Spirit. Is he actually going to? Yeah, he's going to head up towards top, at least for the moment. I'm anxious to see how this is going to pan out. Are they going to send Bulbamin out of the clock? Or are they going to send him to the off lane? Right now, he's at least directionally aligned with the off lane. And, yeah, looks like that's what they're going to do. TC's heading up to top now as well. So Quakeva is going to most likely rotate into mid on the Storm while Bulba heads to the off lane as a clock. So a little bit of rule switching. Not a ton, though. How about we run through the full lineup, starting with NS. He'll be playing on our Naga Siren. The OD will be handled in mid by God. Shadow Shaman is going to be handled by Arzart with Venge, played by the stand-in, soon to be not stand-in, I suspect. Blow Your Brain and Darkseer are going to be handled by Light of Heaven. On the other side of the river, TC is mentioned. He's going to be on the Luna. He's actually setting up shop in mid, so little mid-Luna action. Never hurt nobody, right? Quakeva's going to be on the Storm Spirit. He's up at top. He's going to be farming out of that safe lane. Crystal Maiden going to be played by Fluff, getting a little warding done in the meantime with Clockwork, played by Bulba. Once again, he's going to be in the off lane. And Visage going to be played as suspected by Way2. And Way2's Visage, man, he just always seems to, I don't know if he just finds change on the ground or what, but he's always got a ton of gold. Light of Heaven.
Light of Heaven.
Yep, with a haste rune doing a little bit of harassment, but will be zoned out.
So it's going to be, what, farming Quakeva, TC solo middle against OD. That's actually not a terrible matchup for Luton. It's not a great one, but it's not awful. And look at his damage right now. Oh, we see Way2 already in mid trying to mess with G, and that must be pretty annoying. Did he not see that coming? I mean, I'm surprised he just didn't Astral run away. But yeah, so looks like Liquid is doing the right thing. Securing farm for TC, priority #1. Securing farm for Quakeva, priority #2. But Quakeva is not going to have the easiest time versus Darkseer on top.
And here in mid, TC just on the back of Lunar Blessing alone should be able to very effectively out-CS the OD. I mean, OD will be able to hang and bang. Astral Imprison certainly helps out with that with the Stolen Intelligence. At the same time, TC, I feel like, should come out of this lane pretty well, so long as he can avoid ganks. And we can already see Way2. We've seen him do this. This is how he played against Na'Vi in that upset win Liquid notched. He just roamed the entire game and beat every support on the map to 6 because he was involved in so much. He's going to head down and be spotted by NS. Pretty sure NS got to look at him, but a little creep skipping going to be nice for the both of them.
Yeah, and Blow Your Brain seems like he's farming okay, but I'm still very, very skeptical about this farming Vengeful Spirit. I don't know how well it's going to work out for them. NS is looking like he wants to harass these two, but he cannot do anything in a 1-on-2 situation, even with the help of creeps.
Here in mid, we can see the back and forth from Luna and OD going about even, 4-2 against 5-3. So a slight edge actually going to God, despite the early last hit advantage going to TC. Will make up a little bit of ground here with this wave under his own tower, though. And so far, a very quiet laning phase for pretty much everyone. Taking a look at Quakeva, he tops the CS board as one would expect. He's sitting at 9-1. The Venge, honestly, not doing as well as you would hope. I mean, he's completely unfettered down here, but still has already missed a few, sitting at 6-1.
Yeah, I think that VP just needs to do something probably prior to 10 minutes. Like this is way too early to make a move. TC is he's even on CS versus G in middle. So yeah, I mean, looks like Liquid is in a pretty good position right now. Light of Heaven has actually left the lane too.
Yep. Koikva soaking up a lot of solo experience and solo farm, completely left alone right now. This is about as good a start as you're ever going to ask for on a Storm Spirit. This is going to be completely in Koikva's hands at this point. He is getting tons of experience. He's going to hit a very quick 6. His farm up, hang on, Bulba. Shackled down, and there's the Grave Chill. Bulba will be able to hustle himself away, eats a tango, but he has brown boots, should not be caught. No level 2 on the Naga, so Ensnare not a possibility, and they make it all the way down to the comforting waters of the river.
Yep, and this is one big problem with Nagasana. She needs at least level 2 if they want to get a kill. Oh, there's a smoke. There's a lot of heroes running around mid.
And Way2 going to be spotted out here. Oh, Way2 in some trouble. God doing some body blocking. NS still isn't level 2, though. Doesn't have it.
Where's the Astral? He just Astrals him and then catch up with the Shackle. It should be an easy kill. I don't know what G was doing there, but that should have been a very easy first blood for them.
Yep. And we've got 3-on-3, at least for the moment, here out of mid. And we'll see how long this is going to last. God, with his Null Talisman right now, is doing some bottle crowing. And there you go, the Naked Greevel. Waddling his way around. Tread's already done on Koikva in the meantime. 21 CS for him, 16 for Venge. So already an advantage going to him, despite it being two relatively unchallenged lanes. Bulba doing what he can, of course, here down in bottom, I should say, to complicate things for the Venge. But as of yet, still no first blood, and everything pretty even.
G still harassing TC in mid, but TC is out CSing G in mid. So the laning phase just not going very well for VP right now. Koikva getting a little bit too much out of his lane. OD is not dominating his lane, and Bulba is getting a ton of experience on bottom. He almost out levels Blade of Brain, which is absurd. And Naga Siren is only level 2. Oh, they're pinging him out. They may want to go on Bulba here.
And finally the ensnare off of level 2. He has his cogs down. Shackles while the cogs are down, but gonna be tough for them to catch him. Magic Missile has him down to half health. Do they have the damage? Good body blocking from NS, and one Ether Shock gives Blow your brain. It was actually Blow that took that with an auto attack following the Ether Shock. First blood goes the way of Virtus Pro. They needed that.
Yeah, really good positioning. Oh, looks like Light of Heaven's in deep trouble on top.
Light of Heaven has Surge available. There's a Grave
Oh,
Chill.
the haste just ran out on Fluff too. That is very unfortunate. That was also a missed opportunity for them. They knew that he was there too because they had the ward up here. So a couple of missed kills on both sides, and that was very good positioning by AA to not get hit by the cog, but still be able to shackle him and wait out the cog duration. And here's where the 3-1-1 build doesn't actually work out too well for them. For Boba, if he had max cog, it lasts 7 seconds, and that is certainly enough to wait out the duration of shackle. Looks like TC may be ganked in mid. He does have night vision though. They have to get an astral, and they have to be very, very quick about running up the hill. He does have boots on Shadow Shaman. Let's see if this is a kill.
So hanging around in the shadows, AA looking to make something happen. TC's playing very smart, very safe. Just hit level 6 as well, and ganking into a level 6 Luna is a chancy proposition at best. The damage output, especially for these squishy
There's
supports.
a smoke from NS and AA. They are rotating around. They need some vision up on the map right now. Their ward on bottom is right about to expire. They have just no idea where Liquid is.
I really like this plan to abandon mid again, trying to gank in the TC that close under his tower with level 6 up, really just taking a chance that I don't think needed to be taken. 6 minutes in, they're going to try to make something happen at top. They do have the kill lead, at least for the moment, but the only target up, TC's actually rotated up here, and looks like they're going to send Way2 down to get some levels. He's just short of level 3. Koikva is level 6, coming up on level 7. He's just going to go into the jungle to free some experience up for the rest of the team. Very nice balancing of farm and experience priority here from Team Liquid.
Oh, they're going behind the tower, but it is a level 6 TC like you talked about. If he gets out of clips off, they are donezo.
And yeah, I don't think they can do it. It's too much. Like, all he has to do is hit R.
They're taking out the stack though, so that's not so bad for them.
Yeah. And Liquid so far, I mean, they're really just moving well. Koikva got so much farm priority early, but being able to catch up Way2 safely. I mean, he's not even being challenged here. I mean, he's gonna be level 4 very shortly. He was level 2 just moments ago. In the meantime, taking a look at Venge, 36 CS for Venge. Not too shabby, not quite on par with Koikva, but the OD at 29 to the 24 of Luna. not too bad either way. So I would call this about as even a match as we could see.
Fluff is looking for a kill on Lawyer Brain. All the wards have expired on the side of VP, and looks like there is going to be another TP in too. They might actually scout him out with the chicken.
And here we go. Blow going to be jumped on. Quick was there. Immediate reaction. The Frostbite available from Fluff. We'll go ahead and spend it. And nice swap. Is that enough to get him out of the way? Bulba taking damage under the tower. They'll feed one for free. And we see the ultimate from Venge used defensively and getting the job done. And just like that, VP takes a 2-0 lead.
That strength buff on the Vengeful Spirit, though. He has 1,000 HP already, and he's level 7. Like, what in the world is up with that strength gain? That is absurd.
Yep. Having the
he is so tanky.
Yep, 10 armor as well. Not too bad with an Aquila.
What? That is just insane. Like, I mean, Vengeful Spirit, you think of her as a squishy hero, 3 people on her with a Storm Spirit jumping. I mean, that was without a hookshot. Maybe Bobo should have used it, but I mean, he could have just swapped that anyways. But still, I fully expected Blade of Brain to die there. I very much underestimated the buff to that strength.
Light of Heaven could be in trouble. There it is. Hooked right on top of. Cogs go down. Bulba's got him cut off. He's going to try to trade Ion Shells. Up, here we go. And the Lucent Beam from Luna with the damage from this build. As you had pointed out, his build 3-1-1. Very high damage output at this stage of the game and gets the job done. Finally, Liquid makes their way onto the board. Make it 2-1 now.
And Goldcraft is actually very heavily in favor of VP right now. I totally did not expect that. I knew they got the first blood, but I knew that Koifo was doing well as TC. But Goldcraft actually, 2,000 in favor of VP right now. They need level 6 on the Shadow Shaman as soon as possible so that they can press their Slight Urge and start taking down some towers. Blow Your Brain, meanwhile, farming on bottom. Looks like he's picking up a drum, so not a super hard carry one, but it's still a pretty good position for them. They can start rolling Liquid in team fights if they start pushing soon. So that time is nigh.
Looks like TC is going with that early to mid game approach we occasionally see to Luna. He's already got up his drums, just completed them, sitting on just brown boots, but he does have the Wraith Band as well, and can go ahead and complete his Aquila if he wants to do so. And that's a very solid way to build Luna if you expect to be under pressure early. And against this lineup, why wouldn't you expect that? So I rather like the choice. We'll see if he is going to complete it, though, or if he's just going to run straight up the treads now.
Light of Heaven needs his mech ASAP. He is actually very underfarmed. He is not even level 7 yet. He has Soul Ring, Brown Boots, and a Headdress. Like, usually at this point, most people have their Buckler finished and are pretty close to it. I think 12 minutes is a pretty appropriate timing for that, but that one death setting him back pretty far. Got to manage that gold, buddy.
Yep. Didn't see if he bought the Headdress just as he was dying, but I would say it's very possible. In the meantime, I think Liquid can just play the waiting game right now. Just get TC what you can. He has banked 700 gold, so likely to just hang on to the Wraith.
There's the Invis on top. Koifa probably looking for a kill on G. Nope.
Gonna double back and hang on to it. May come through the back side of the jungle, though, assuming they're, he just backs to pop the Invis. And they're going to try to dive out top, anticipating some kind of a reaction. He's heading up here with the Visage Familiars. And so far, though, Virtus Pro want no part of that top lane. There's no one in the neighborhood whatsoever.
Yeah, they really want Bulba on bottom, but both teams just anticipating people to be on opposite sides of the map, and I think that Liquid will win out in this particular situation because they will take that T1 down very fast. There is the glyph, but this tower with the Visage Birds being on it is almost no chance it's going to survive. Drum's already up on TC, like you pointed out, treads on him, so he's very tanky, 1100, and I think that's a very good build out for him, just mass HP in the early game because he might not be able to farm for BKB that fast.
Yep. And we may still see him complete the Aquila. I really like this build.
Oh, there's a TP in from Koifa. Bulba's in position for a hook shot.
Yep. Thought we'd see him pull the trigger, and he didn't. But back to TC's build, I really do like this a lot against this kind of a lineup where you know they have to hit a mid-game timing window, otherwise their lineup's just innately going to fall off against yours. Getting up the treads for survivability, getting up the drums, and if he wants to, he can go ahead and grab the Bassi to finish the Aquila. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. May just go ahead and start banking for that BKB as we talked about, but either way, just a very well-rounded approach. 1100 HP, sitting on 8 armor, movement speed solid. And he's going to be able to start showing up to fights if he needs to. I think they're going to want to prioritize just making space for him. Nope, check that. This is what this build allows you to do. get moving, get active, and make things happen early.
Yeah, they're looking for a 5-man. They are not level 6 on Rasa. He is just one creep away. Oh, there he goes. So with this, and looks like Naga is not level 6 yet. Oh, they may just pick him off right now. And he actually scouts out the smoking. That is so fortuitous for NS, and that is a totally acceptable casualty. 4 heroes rotate with a smoke, and he should be back in time for this defense on bottom, and it will allow VP to make a very informed decision as to whether or not they want to defend it or not. Looks like they are going to defend it. Darkseer is here. Not yet. No mech up yet, though. This could be very, very bad for VP.
Yep, they need this mech. And that one death at top, setting him back for sure. We're going to see TP back from NS. NS is not level 6, mind you. So not going to have Song of the Siren. And Liquid can just...
D2's taking a lot of damage, though.
Yep, tanking those out. Here we go. Blow, going to swap in Koikfa. Koikfa going to be blown up so fast.
Wow, that was a very good initiation by VP. Their teamwork really spot on. They are like, okay, I want to swap him. You hex him immediately before he can jump in. What looked like to be a very bad situation for Liquid just completely turned around. And I do really think it was NS. Him getting caught there was actually quite the blessing.
Oh, yeah, completely agree. And like you said, he was back. I mean, there wasn't a lot he was going to contribute coming in from that angle. But the fact that he just gave them the ability to get in position and to make that decision on their own.
Nice deny by Fluff, but he's going to pay for it.
Here we go. He's going to throw out the Frostbite and going to be nuked down in the meantime. But here in mid, TC's getting some work done. He's got 2 points in the glaive, so he can push a bit. He's going straight up to a Helm of the Dominator now next. They're going to end up losing the Visage at least 1, maybe 2. No. 10 HP, and nope, check that. The Wave of Terror.
That minus HP is so good versus Visage Familiars, and here's going to be a T2. Looks like someone is trying to TP, but if it's just one person, he might just get Eclipse, but looks like TC is playing it safe.
They're going to try to come out here. There was a hook Bulba hexed out. They managed to track down the Naga. In the meantime, there's a deny in mid. AA going to be caught with the Vortex, and Koikfa looking for revenge. Will get it. OD going to Astral Imprison himself. This is going to cost him 3 heroes, and the tier 2 still stands, so that's actually a very big win for Liquid. The tower not quite in deny range, and they did deny the mid, but being able to narrow the kill margin at the very least and keep that tower up, certainly a big deal.
Yeah, and they have a very good lineup at fighting away from the Serpent Wards too. And typically you see a mobile team just like suffer while they fight in that, but it was able to take down by the be able to be killed by the T2, and the hook shot and the jump from the Storm Spirit just allows them to maneuver at their will.
This is such a good build coming out from TC. He's now up to plus 16 armor. He's got, again, about 1,200 HP, give or take. And, you know, he's just, again, we haven't seen him really show up and dedicate himself to a fight yet, but when he does, with no BKBs whatsoever out on the side of Virtus Pro, and possibly the soonest one coming out from God, and he's only 300 gold towards it. Eclipse, Lucent Beam, even his glaive damage is going to feel pretty lethal against this relatively squishy squad, especially when you're talking to Carry Venge, who has, you know, built up armor of her own up to plus 12.
Lawyer Brain going for a swap on Koikfa.
Not going to get it this time. Koikfa learned his lesson. Not hanging around, not about to be surge swapped.
They really need level 6 on NS. Had he been level 6 down there, they would have been able to disengage, probably take the T2, and escape with minimal deaths.
Here we go, trying to engage in. There's the Eclipse. Blow your brain. Trying to retreat, will be blown up. The wall goes down. They walk through it, and don't worry too much about it. And think about it.
He was going to defensively swap.
Bulba? What? Looked like he was going to go set up for a hook instead, thinking better of it.
Fluff actually is right behind them. This is a very bad position for VP. They don't have enough heroes right there.
And here we go. They're going to rush the high ground. There's the hook in from Bulba. Caught God. And Fluff gets in, gets ensnared. He's taking a lot of attention and will get off a little bit of the freezing field. But Song of the Siren prompted out, and they actually managed to kill the courier as it flies over the wards. Yes, flew over the wards. So
they should have backed off way earlier than that. As soon as they lose one of their main heroes, especially with the farm priority given the bench, they have to back out. I have no idea what G was thinking, trying to farm up here that close to their tower, and with a very long range initiation from the Storm and the Clockwork. Force Staff only goes so far in saving you.
And looks like on the back of a DD picked up by Koikfa. They're ready to go take a Roshan. OD not going to be back up for 5 seconds yet, and the whole team's having to hoof it out. So even though, well, especially with the tier 1 missing, tough for them to have any chance to challenge it even under the best of circumstances. This is going to drop, and Koikfa's not far from his Orchid.
I think they're giving it Koikfa.
Yep. There it is. Koikfa's not far from his Orchid at all. And here we go. Going to jump out and engage on Blow Your Brain again. There was an ensnare, but it's ineffective. They're going to mech through some of this damage. There's the Ether Shock to turn around, but Hex on the TC. Can they chase him down? Quakefa still going to town with that DD. There's another hook in, and he got two. Great set of cogs coming out from Bulba. Ether Shock continues to do damage, but they end up dropping 2 for 1. There's the OD ulti, managing to pop the Aegis. But this is so far a 2 for 3 plus an Aegis. If they get God, it may well be worth it, and they will. So 4 down in exchange for 2 plus an Aegis. Probably would have liked to get a little bit more out of it, but that's a fight I'm sure they'll take with a smile on their face.
Yeah, and like Blow Your Brain is a liability at this point. He died the last time they engaged on a mid. This time he just died without really doing anything. And I think his position needs to be a little bit better, or G just has to be a lot better with the defensive astrals too. That is actually a pretty big deal. We haven't seen any defensive astrals coming out from him. They have to do a better job of protecting him, whether that is from a counter initiate with a Darkseer, with a vacuum wall, whether it's simply just astraling him until he gets out of a electric vortex, or just using Song of the Siren, and we have seen none of those. And without his damage output, they don't really have that much damage. They have 152 damage on the Vengeful Spirit with minimal items.
We see a Midas pick up on our Crystal Maiden, played by Fluff, opting for that as opposed to any kind of a mid-game item, and that's understandable whenever you look at TC and how far ahead he is. If this does end up going late, she'll certainly benefit from that infusion of gold and levels. And TC's only about 800 gold, and not even that, 700 gold away from his BKB right now. That BKB comes out, what in the hell is Virtus Pro gonna do to kill him?
Yeah, it's probably nothing, and
Yeah.
they don't really have that much anti-BKB right now. Maybe if they had like a sheep or some decent amount of farm on OD, then they'd be in a pretty good position. But G has died 3 times. He is 4th on CS right now, and probably very lacking in net worth. He's 4th on net worth, but he is over 3,000 behind TC right now. TC's farm is just gigantic at this point.
We're gonna see the courier coming back up. I didn't even see what it had on it, if anything. But I can't get to it that way. I can do it this way, though. Some wards and some TP, so not the end of the world in terms of what was delayed. Quakefa's Orchid is also done now, coming out at a decent little clip as well. And he's already got his Ogre Club up, so he's making good progress. There's a BKB of his own. Down at bottom, NS and Light of Heaven trying to engage on a Bulba. Wall's going to go down. He was ensnared amidst it. Drops the cogs down. He will be flanked by God and going to hook his way back out. And Bulba, the tricky little bugger, is going to force this back. I hear the jump, and there's Light of Heaven. They got the Orchid off on him, and no Vortex. They'll get him this time. Can't kill a Bulba clock, man. It can't be done. Been saying that since D2L Season 2. Up at top, a little bit of counter push. They're going to go ahead and bring down the Tier 1, but seriously, there are so many times you'll think you can track down Bulba on the clockwork, and he does stuff like that. Just pure madness. It makes you look silly.
Yeah, that totally made me feel silly. It was a 3-on-1 situation, and maybe G should have expended his ultimate or something like that, but that hookshot turnaround and juke into the forest was pretty darn amazing.
And we can see right there. Usually I try not to make mention of the stats because they're just supposed to supplement the cast, not drive it, but that says it all. 43-21 record in professional play on the hero, and I couldn't agree more. His clockwork is the best in the West. I would put that statement to the test against any form of metrics. I mean, there are a lot of good clock players, don't get me wrong, but Bulba's just on a whole new level, and he showed it right there.
And VP, the gold graph certainly swung in favor of Liquid right now, and they're in a very bad position right now, especially when Liquid has pretty much complete map control with Quakefa on the Storm Spirit with his Orchid up, and with Roshan, first one going their way, second one should probably go their way too, and VP just needs to make something happen very, very soon. They need to get a nice 5-man initiate on, but now that Luna has BKB, they can't really do anything, and Blow Your Brain just gets blown up.
Blow, regretting his decision immediately, swapped him and said, "Oh, you have a BKB done now." And that was that. Now they're going to get AA. And this is the point where where Bulba kill steals there. But that's what he does, and he laughs about it. I hear you, Clockwork. But OD actually managed to get a kill on Fluff, who had been hanging in this vicinity, basically just warding and counter warding. Looks like he got caught out, but this lineup out of Virtus Pro has officially run out of steam. They're getting nothing
at this
out of
point,
Venge.
they need they need a lifestealer, like lifestealer with a basher, or like Drum's armlet basher. That's pretty much the same amount of gold that Luna has right now. Can actually man up versus him, and he is slightly vulnerable to the Orchid from the Storm Spirit, but not as vulnerable as the Vengeful Spirit is. And she's pretty much had the same items for like maybe 6 or 7 minutes right now, and she's made slight headway in the form of buying a Mithril Hammer, but like a BKB Ventral Spirit trying to man mode a BKB Luna, that is just not going to happen. She has 15 armor, she has lifesteal, and 1,200 gold to boot.
And Koikva just continuing to find his farm, has enough gold for his Mithril Hammer, plus another 350 on top, so you're talking less than 1,000 gold until he has his BKB. That'll be 2 that just about cannot be damaged by Virtus Pro. And yeah, this game, you don't want to call it over before it's over, but this is just a good example of a game that's 22 minutes in, and of course there's a lot of Dota to be played, but their lineup is just such that and barring some kind of real cataclysm of execution errors out of Liquid, like ongoing, their lineup's just going to match up so much better that they really aren't even going to have to play that well.
And looks like Storm Spirit will have his BKB fairly soon too. And once that happens, like VP just does not have enough damage. Maybe if they had more levels up on the Shadow Shaman, level 11 on him. But I think it all started with this T2 push on bottom, not being able to get that TC, just being able to split push them out, and then just getting picked 3-4-0. They were like on a pretty big roll there. If they had gotten that tower, they would have gotten more levels. Level 6 earlier, Naga Siren. They would have been able to take the mid T1, but instead that got denied, and then Liquid got Roshan. So just one push. They have to be. They just have to make a concerted effort to back off together, especially when you do not have Song of the Siren.
And taking a look at Luna from here, banking up gold. Would imagine. Well, I mean, it's tough to call. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, really. He could go straight up for a Satanic if he just wants to further tank up, and he could be banking for that with 2,500 gold set aside. Could go straight damage. Will be Ashel imprisoned as God catches him out. And here comes the rest of the team. There's the BKB, and he's just going to TP away. So, yeah, I think Liquid's playing this game very clear. They're just going to farm TC until they're ready to go win. And Way2's actually very close to his Scepter. Only needs another 280 gold.
Another farmed Way2. Like, Mech and Scepter, that's a pretty absurd farm on a Visage.
Yep. He does this every game, man. We've seen it. Like, well, what was it? It was like 28 minutes in, and we're like, check farm on Way2, and he has a Scepter and an Assault Cuirass. That's just how he works on this hero. And now we're going to have a swap from Blow. Can they catch Koikva?
Wow, he died so fast.
Not a chance. And, yeah, what can you say? You just got exploded.
We spoke too soon. Yeah, this is a problem. When you can't split push as a Storm Spirit, that's a very big issue.
Right now, Koikva is very much in that same boat as MSS from EG, where we talk about, he's more experienced than MSS, obviously, played on the big stage with Mouse all throughout last year. But even aside from that, they're still trying to figure out how he fits into this. Still a very young guy, looking for consistency, looking for success. And games like this are valuable for him. I mean, I've seen him on Storm a handful of times, but I think that's a hero that he would do well to add to his repertoire.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, VP is trying to get back in this game. They have to keep on killing the Luna and the Storm Spirit. They can kind of do the same thing if Luna is out alone, just like swap into a Hex if she's not ready for it. If she BKBs, it's instant cast, unlike Storm Spirit's Ball Lightning. But Storm Spirit will have BKB up soon too. But they have to have like ninja fast reflexes in order to prevent that Hex into instant swap combo, or swap into instant Hex combo.
There's the BKB finally done for Koikva's Storm Spirit. Will be the Butterfly pickup on TC. Was going to say it could be Butterfly, could be damage, but instead going for straight.
Definitely should be Butterfly.
Yep, going straight survivability.
I mean, Butterfly gives her a lot of damage too.
Yeah. But
and they're very well in position to take out his next Roshan, which is just going to respawn right now. Oh no! Wait, he checked it with his bats, but wait, what? No, yeah, it's at the max timer, isn't it?
Yep, very close. There he is, back up now, and I'm sure with 3 familiars, one will venture over to the top sometime soon. Liquid continuing to just really take their time. It's going to be a 4-staff pickup on the way for Fluff, so a little bit of extra maneuverability, survivability. A couple of smokes bought up from Way2 as he did complete his Scepter. Would imagine we're going to see them group and probably look to go take a big fight, then take that Roshan.
Yeah, this is a really big fight for VP. If they lose this and then they lose the Roshan, they're almost out of the game. And there's another swap instant Hex, and that is a very timely kill too. They'll get this T2 on bottom, and then they can just do Roshan, and they actually know that TC's there. It's all someone get ping him out there.
Managing to pick him off and looking to take the tier 2. Down go the wards.
That ward was totally unnecessary. They should have used that for Roshan. I mean, with the Naga Siren 2, they should have been able to take it, and it looks like they're pinging out right now. But wow, I have no idea why he dropped it there.
Yeah, kind of bizarre. The tower was at like 200 HP, and we saw how quickly it melted. They do have NS on the Naga side.
OD looking to pick off Koikva.
Koikva will be able to jump away and going to be imprisoned. Can BKB as soon as he comes out if needed. And not going to do so. Yep, he's just going to use his invis. Do they have detection? They certainly don't. And that's a bit of a, well, I can't call it a misplay, but a fortuitous turn of events. And immediately, NS goes, nope, never again. Buying a gem. It's fine.
This is going to be a Roshan attempt from Liquid. They have a lot of damage. The butterfly isn't yet completed on Luna, but they don't really have anything to worry about. Not when all 5 of their team is up, and with 3 Visage Birds. Well, actually, I only see 2.
Yeah, dude. I'm not sure if he lost one. Either way, Roche is down to half.
They know they have to go soon. Nagasart has to be there. Looks like it's going to drop in about 5 seconds time. He has a very small window to initiate, and Nopi will not go in. Oh, too late.
He BKB'd. Storm BKB just to be safe, and gonna go jump right on NS. That'll be that. So misplay for misplay. We saw Liquid with Bulba getting picked off. They lost their tier 2. Now BKB's up on the Shadow Shaman, so he's going to be a bit more survivable, but that's a pretty big pick off. They take the Aegis, and I would imagine this is when they're going to want to be aggressive and look to try to shut this game down. TC is very, very close to his butterfly. Should be up, coming up at about 500 gold.
Yeah, but Luna without the beak or without the Aegis, she is still vulnerable to the swap hex window that we saw before. So maybe if VP can get that, but I think the bigger mistake was just dropping the wards on the tower, because if they just go for Roshan after that, they could prevent a lot of bad
God jumped on. There's a 4-staff and hex on Koikva. Koikva will have his Aegis pop. There's the Eclipse. Light of Heaven gonna be Astral in prison to bail him out. Wards go down, and TC's trapped. Has to try and fight his way out, and will be able to do so, but not without walking through. Blow your brain. Swaps TC back into the Sanity's Eclipse, and Koikva making the most of that Aegis as best they can. It's a 2-for-2 trade so far. Bulba imprisoned again as God retreats to the south. AA's right there with the Hex ready. Jumping right on him. Hex on the Bulba as he drops a Cogs. God will be picked off in return. NS is locked down now, and Fluff got off the freezing field and got a decent amount of damage done before dropping. But a very costly fight on both sides. A Pyrrhic victory for Liquid if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and VP still hanging in there. They managed to lose the gem though, but it's not that important. They don't really have any invis heroes, and Koikva slightly getting out of hand now. They had a pretty good initiation there. Unfortunately, no wall coming out from Darkseer, and I think had they had that wall there, it would have been a much different fight. And yeah, OD just has to be better about the defensive astrals. He has to save his teammates, and whether it's the damage output from Provincial Spirit or the utility coming out from the Darkseer, they have to be able to react to Liquid, because that's pretty much how they always initiate. Storm jumps in on somebody or gets BKBs and the fight starts, or a hookshot comes out from Clockwork. But both of those methods of initiation will just disable a hero for a few seconds, and if they burst them down, it's immediate 5v4, and with the item advantage that Liquid already has, it should be an easy fight for them to take.
Well, Blow is going to start adding damage, and he's not hitting for nothing. I mean, with Vengeance Aura up and max level, he is doing all right. He's hitting for about 242 a shot up here at top.
For Koikva.
There's the swap, the Hex. How many times is Koikva going to let that happen?
Yeah, he is just not ready for that. And, I mean, it is something that you don't really expect as a Storm Spirit, especially when you have a BKB. When you have BKB and jump, you feel pretty much invulnerable. But 2 things will pretty much stop you. A Blink Sheep, which is pretty much the same thing as a Swap Sheep, or the Scythe of Vice. And I mean, you usually need a Scythe of Vice when you have Hex on your hero.
And here we go. Wards go down. One of only 2 outer tier towers remaining for Liquid under assault. They will glyph it. In the meantime, they're going to try to counter push the mid tier 2. Looks like they're going to be able to do so for free. Fluff is hanging out on the edge, gets a ward down even. They will be trading tower for tower right here. And they've yet to commit any personnel to this mid tower. They have a glyph. And yeah, they're going to be able to teleport in and do something about this. This is, I guess, Liquid just really not feeling confident about pushing, even with just the auto attacks from Visage and Crystal Maiden. They might have been able to get something done. Instead, they managed to take a free tier 2 top and defend their own.
Yeah, you can tell they're really scared now. G almost has a Hex of his own, Ultimate Orb already up, and now with like 3 BKBs on the side of VP, and it's actually like tides have slowly started to turn. Looking at the gold graph, still in very reachable range at 5,000 in favor of Liquid. And once they get the MKB out on Venge, I mean, we talked about how we thought they weren't going to have anything versus the BKB on the Luna, but I think we underestimated Vengeful's carry potential. It looks like Fluff will get caught out. Oh.
4 staffs to safety, and Way2 just on the other side of the foliage will be able to make it away. I mean, it's one of those things you just don't see. I mean, we're at 31 minutes now. You just don't expect this game to go this long.
Is Quick going to get caught out again?
Looks like he should be able to make it away. But yeah, to have a vengeful...
I don't know. He might get greedy.
Let's see. He's got a point booster up. Is he going to come in? I mean, it's 132. And I guess he could BKB and ball in. No. Just going to be denied.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
Blow Your Brain fairly close to his MKB. Just needs about 1,300 gold there. And yeah, looks like Liquid just continuing to farm up. And I thought that Liquid would be a lot more farm, but I think it's the... Oh, there's a long jump. Just a couple of pickoffs on Koikba that have just really caused it. I think without that, that's probably like a 2,000 gold favor in for Storm Spirit, and he would have had his Blood Zone by now had he not gotten picked off.
Going to be a very short respawn on Roshan, so we should have another Roche fight. Chat trivia: Vengeful Spirit's 2.6 strength gain per level is the second highest among all agility heroes in Dota. Who is the first? And I'll let you take a shot at that.
I have no idea. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. Hang on. Let's see. Koikva might be spotted out here. He's got a team to the north of him, and if they decide to go, he's serving his bait. Ines is right behind him. He's going to go ahead and jump, go right after God. Light of Heaven's behind him. Here's the hook in off of it. They've got Song of the Siren that will catch them out. BKB has been used. Here comes all of VP and the reinitiation. BKB's on both sides. Blow teeing off on Koikva. In the meantime, swap on the Bulba. Bulba locked under the tower, drops the cogs, but does end up dead. Koikva's going to go ahead and TP away. And did they lose their courier? Wow, they actually Radiant lost their courier. So Virtus Pro lost their courier that time.
Yeah, no idea how these couriers keep dying. Very inopportune times for them to join the fight. Meanwhile, Fluff on top, I think he was split pushing a little bit, but unable to get that much damage on a T2. And I mean, I almost counted VP out of this game, but they are hanging in there mighty fine after being able to take down some towers. Looks like the tower count is actually in favor of VP right now. 5 to Liquid's 4. And the next Roshan is going to be really important too. I believe this one will be the cheese.
All right, Liquid beginning to run as much more of a group now as they should. We saw, I mean, TC hasn't really come to a fight in a while. He's got 2,500 gold aside from his Butterfly, which was the last big item he completed. Invis going to be activated on Shadow Shaman. They're going to go head hunting up at top. And might be able to find Koikva if they're not careful. Way2 is going to be there right on top of him, though.
They see him with one ward, though, and this should be the sign for them to back. Looks like Way2 is well on its way to his AC.
Yeah, this is the Way2 build. Loves to get the Assault Cuirass up after Scepter. Whether or not he is the mech carrier, of course, depends on composition. But it's a very effective way to play the Visage, and he gets so much out of it. Occasionally, he'll throw a medallion at you, but all the same, armor reduction at some point of the game or another. And Virtus Pro continuing to play back, feeling very confident in Blow Your Brain's carry potential. He only needs about another 100 gold. Yeah, Gods as well. He's not doing too shabby. He's on his way to that Scythe of Ice. But the MKB coming out imminently on Blow Your Brain, that's going to be the real game changer.
Yeah, they're still pretty far behind in terms of net worth. Venge is like 4,500 behind the Luna, and looks like the OD is about 3,000 behind the Storm Spirit. I mean, it's a pretty sizable difference too. That's almost a full BKB, 7,500 gold in favor of Liquid, and a lot of that is due to TC.
There it is. Last 2 javelins picked up, and the MKB now done. Roshan back up in just 30 seconds. As we can see, ultra short respawn. Just 30 seconds.
Satanic soon on Luna too. Like, yeah. I mean, MKB is nice and all, but when he can just heal it right back up with a Satanic use during BKB, I think that Vengeful is just simply outclassed as the carry.
Yep, hitting for 290 damage, but you compare that to Luna, who's hitting for 313. With obviously the evasion is going to be mitigated against the Venge, but has a BKB, has everything else. Ursa Strength gain per level has the highest strength growth of all agility heroes in Dota 2. So congratulations to our viewers. I think we do need to start giving out surprises. I like that, by the way, Nahaz. Keep the chat trivia going. I'm sure they get a kick out of it, too.
And Liquid doing Ancients right now. Koikva, what is he going for? It can't be a Scotty. I guess casual point booster into a Sheep is what I would expect.
Yep.
I mean, technically, it could be a Scotty.
Scotty'd be interesting. Something different, anyway. And, I mean, could just be looking for, a little bit of stat gain. Obviously, a Lincoln's could work there, but we'll wait and see. I'm anxious to see.
Lincoln's would be really good for him.
Yeah.
Being able to block that swap.
We'll
or the Hex.
Roshan's been up for a while now, by the way. This is a cheese Roshan. And Virtus Pro way spread out. We do see that the BKB has been completed on Light of Heaven, so he'll be able to hang around these fights much longer. But there's not going to be a fight if they don't get there really quick. TC down there with the help of the Alpha Wolf and the Alpha Wolf's aura. Certainly a benefit to have, even letting it tank Roshan a little bit. And TC plus the
Boyer Brain's going to use his Wave of Terror, but it's going to be too late.
Yep. And Liquid snagging yet another Aegis. That's going to be the Satanic.
She's on Luna.
Yep, and Satanic.
Boy.
And Satanic.
And Lincoln's on Storm Spirit. This is the time to push, like, right now, or at least force a fight with VP. They are just so weak right now with those items completed. Aegis, Lincoln's, and Cheese all in one, and Satanic. So VP, yeah, they have like a lot of oomph at the start of their fight, but I don't think they're going to be able to outlast this much, all the sustainability from the Liquid lineup. They can't like burst Luna down like 3 times, pretty much. One because of Cheese, one because of Satanic BKB. And I don't think they can burst them down 3 times. I don't think they can burst Liquid Koikva down twice either.
What I think, in hindsight and retrospect of what VP was going for here, was a little bit of carry potential on the Venge, but they wanted a pick and push lineup. That's why you have the Shadow Shaman, the way he's going to work, in conjunction with, as we've seen all game, the Surge Swap Hex. I think that was the plan, is to use that to, with great ease, pick off individual heroes, then along with the pushing power of the Shadow Shaman in particular, an early mech on the Darkseer, start bringing down towers early on. And they did that to a certain extent, so we knew they prioritized it, but the game's just gotten a little too late on them, and their composition's weaknesses beginning to show, beginning to look a little long in the tooth, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, and TC, I mean, if he gets a Manta style next, my goodness, he is just going to be so difficult for this VP lineup to take out. But, I mean, I think we're underestimating Wall, too. If they get a very nice vacuum wall, that Luna is just going to do a lot of damage to themselves, too. And the AC coming out soon from Visage, they'll get that aura. And Koikva gets another chicken.
Yep. Second one of the game, and right off of that, they'll be able to push down the last remaining, one of 2 last remaining outer tier towers, I should say. And down goes tier 2 top. Virtus Pro just having to play ultra defensive, farm what they can, and hope that when it comes to cracking tier 3s, their team works a little bit better than Liquid's, but that plan only has so much mileage whenever you have a Luna on the enemy squad who is quite happy to take this game as long as you like.
Yeah, they still are pretty far ahead on the goal graph. 12,000 in favor of Liquid. Kill score still pretty close, and yeah, VP just can't take a team fight right now. Not with the Aegis. 2.5 minutes since Roshan has been killed. Maybe if Liquid pushes up their T3, they can, but it's still just going to be very risky for them. I think that they do actually have the potential to burst Luna down if they do have a very nice offensive swap into a Hex, into a Shackle with the BKB. But the only problem is Clockwork can counter-initiate that as well as the Storm Spirit. Looks like they are smoking, looking for a kill. Are they going to find anyone?
Wei-Tsu just around the bend. And there's the jump away from Storm. They just spotted out Venge. So Wei-Tsu.
If AA had faster reflexes, that would have been so important.
Yep. Wei-Tsu able to withdraw. Unscathed, and keeping the rest of the team up and safe as well. And TC just continues to farm up, man. He's got 3,200 gold right now. I mean, like you said, he's getting close to Manta style money. He could just sell his drums and pick a Manta up very soon.
Yeah, he is getting to that point where they can't really deal with him.
So Virtus Pro going to go ahead and get a 5-man going up top. And looks like they know the game getting a bit out of hand. They're going to hope to find a pick here in the jungle, perhaps, try to bait a fight. Maybe try to punish Koikva if he gets a little too aloof, he or Bulba, with their initiation. But This is going to be tantamount to their last stand if they decide to commit to it. If they turn around now, then of course they can extend things.
Radiant's bottom tower
But if
is
they
under
commit to a
attack.
tier 3 push, they're going to be in some trouble. They're going to have to commit sometime soon because they're now out of outer tier
Swell
towers.
comes out. Fluff just gets picked off. Very nice observer ward over here.
Oh, there's the pick they wanted. Let's see what they can do with it. Creep wave at top. The one furthest pushed. They still have a tier 2 tower in mid.
Crystal
if they want to
Maiden
move.
has 4,200 gold.
Yeah, she's picked up that Midas a while ago and is yet to spend any of it. Just hanging on to it, man. It's fine. What do you think she's going to grab?
Sheep.
Yep.
BKB's nice too. BKB ulti, they can't really stop it with anything. I mean, they could use swap, they could use net, but those are likely going to be used on very high priority targets, not a Crystal Maiden.
I'd say at that point, Crystal Maiden gets a. I mean, she's been benefiting from the experience gain too. She's got level 3 ulti. I'd say at that point, BKB on her, she becomes a high priority target.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a lot of damage that gets done by that freezing field.
Mm-hmm.
Scythe of Ice done on the OD, so there's one more solution for Koikva, but TC, obviously the big problem with Cheese is Satanic. He's going to get a Lincoln's. He's actually got a Perseverance already in his inventory.
Yeah, wow. That is very surprising.
Well, I mean, you
He
can
doesn't want to get swapped.
finishes it out, but you can understand why. Just good stat gain across the board, helps her tank up and just become more survivable, and she can toss that Lincoln's effect onto Koikva or onto any hero in particular, but Bulba and Koikva are the obvious choices just so they can initiate.
Light of Heaven has a BKB of his own, so pretty much everyone but the poor Naga Siren has a BKB on the side of VP.
Aegis will be reclaimed in 30 seconds, so they got nothing but farm out of it, but farm really all they needed in this case. You see by the gold graph coming up on 20,000, and Bloodstone now done on the Storm Spirit as well, so he's pretty freaking survivable.
Yeah, Liquid just turbo out farming VP at this point. Pretty much most in map control, although they do have to be scared of the occasional swap and hex, but it may just be too little too late.
And just starving him out. I mean, seriously, just basically farming Virtus Pro into a corner where they have to run all together. And, you know, not even level 16 for Naga yet, so still has her ultimate on a fairly long cooldown. So this will be, whenever they commit to it, a tough defense. It's only going to really have one shot.
Mm-hmm. And if they have a second Aegis cheese, that is just going to be redonk, like 2 cheeses on Storm Spirit. Like how are you going to lose a fight with that? Especially when he already has Orchid and Bloodstone and BKB and Lincoln's on top. It looks like VP is going for a push for themselves, and this is fairly close to before Roshan spawns. So if Liquid loses a fight right now, they could potentially be in a lot of trouble. Storm Spirit doesn't actually have buyback, but he does have his Bloodstone. And looking at Luna, she doesn't have buyback either.
Wave 2 comes in from the south. They're ready to converge, and there the familiars are going to be looking for a stun. And the hook right on a blow and God, but the sleep disjoints things. No cogs went down in time. Koikva will try to jump as soon as it's off, and will get right on top of them. Lincoln's pop, BKB as well. NS, Vortex back to manage to pick him off. There's a wall, but not getting a lot out of it. Bulba's cogs finally do go down. There's a swap of Fluff and Blow Your Brain, but Fluff already feeling very tanky and had a Ghost Scepter on top. Blows down. Freezing field, not even necessary. 4 down, 4-0. And this is going to be, one would imagine, a victory lap at this point for Team Liquid. Roche has come back up, or excuse me, will be back up very soon, but looks like they're going to drop Arax before they even worry about the pit.
Yeah, I think they should have just turned around and initiated there after they had the sleep, just because they're going to get picked off anyways. With Storm Spirit with that much mana, he's going to be able to catch somebody. So they much rather fight when they're already clumped up, as opposed to when VP has to run up and fight down this hill. That's just a very bad place for them to fight. So I think it was a valiant effort by VP. I mean, when they're fighting from that much gold behind, you have to take a risk at some point or another, and that was the place that they chose. I think they could have chosen a little bit of a better place, but still, Liquid, very good control of the map. Even a couple of pickups on Koikva isn't enough, but they just did not do a good job of keeping TC down. So 5-1 and 14. G did not do a good job of out CSing in mid, and they just weren't able to get any picks on him until pretty much they didn't get any kills on him ever, except for just one. I don't even remember when that was.
Once again, we see why Wave 2 always seems to have the most full inventory of any support. Check the kill graph. 8, 2, and 11. That's just what he does. When he plays Visage, dies very little and gets many kills with Soul Assumption and the familiars. We're going to see the Scepter picked up, and Mega Creeps are going to be out here. One last engagement for fun. BKBs are up. There's going to be a bounce in from Koifa. The wards go down. Blow Your Brain forced to run away, still eating a lot of damage. Blows right on his tail end. We're going to hear the Sanity's Eclipse drop, but there's the freezing field by Fluff. Koifa going to be netted. There's the Vortex following the Hex on TC, and Bulba back in with another hook. 4 down once again, and that's going to be a GG. So an interesting draft out of Virtus Pro. We saw a very nice little, I use the word not as a pejorative, but just to be descriptive, nice little gimmick and how to deal with heroes like Storm Spirit with the Surge, Swap, and Hex. But in the end, not nearly enough to overcome Team Liquid in Game 1 as they jump out to the lead. And on the back of some very solid performances across the board, TC finishes up with 686 GPM, almost 700 XP per minute. Way Too Sexy, as mentioned, sitting at 379 and 370 in the support position. That's higher than a Darkseer. It's rare that you see a 4 or a 5 be able to out farm a Darkseer in a game that, let's be honest, had a lot of downtime.
There's no pressure though. They just got way too far on Luda, way too far on Storm Spirit, and pretty much just no solution to BKB. I mean, MKB Venge is just not what you need at this point in the game.
Thanks again for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Game 1 already behind us. It took us 46 minutes and 27 seconds, start to finish. 16-27, the final kill score. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. What could be the last game of the day? Virtus Pro got to look to knot things up and make that not true and try to give us a Game 3. But Liquid certainly thinks a 2-0 would look good. And to be honest, with the 2-0, they would all but seal the deal and guarantee their appearance in our Bubble Race playoffs and their bid to fight their way to our grand finals in Vegas, where already Alliance and LGD await them. For those wondering about the details about that, it will be first week of December. We'll be playing through both the East and the West playoffs, and we'll have more details about that released in coming days and weeks. The voice you're hearing on the other end, by the way, his name is Merlini Dota. You can find him and myself on Twitter. I'm at AC. He's at Merlini Dota. Would love if you follow us both. And haven't had a chance to do this yet today, Merlini. Go ahead and drop the deets. Let them know where they can find more about you elsewhere on the web.
You can find me at Twitter at Merlini Dota, Facebook and YouTube, also /Merlini Dota. I'm being more consistent with my video releases. And lastly, but not least, you can follow me on my personal stream, twitch.tv/Merlini Dota. Thanks again, AC.
Not a problem, brother. And once again, make sure you check him out, especially if you're one of those intermediate players looking to get inside the mind of a pro and really begin to think and understand the game as a professional player does. Really, no one better in the scene than Merlini for you to check out. Guy does a lot of content to help you take that next leap in your play and in your thought process, as we see with all of this great insight and analysis here on the HyperX D2L. Game 1's done. Game 2 up next. Team Liquid versus Virtus Pro. Stick with us. We'll be right back here on the HyperX D2L.